And we are live right here on the Alternative Edge, back again on another week. I'm your host, Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, and you're following this on the Sharp app. Follow the Sharp app on all social formats. We're going to talk about Nick Chubb coming off the COVID list. What is his DFS value this week? Cam Newton at 5,100. Is he back? Can he show us the Superman mentality again? We have Alvin Kamara, who is still limited. Mark Ingram could be the guy. We have Dalvin Cook against Green Bay. We're going to talk about Tua. We're going to talk a little Ryan Tannehill. We're going to talk all kinds of props here. Get back on the wagon, as we only do right here on the Alternative Edge. And we're back here, man. Listen, last week, we had a tough week. Every week is not always good, right? That is the thing, because the NFL is so unpredictable. It's a week-to-week league, especially in the first half of the season. So what you do is you look to bounce back, and that's what we're looking to do right here. Okay, we are looking to bounce back, and we're looking at week 11, and there's been a lot of good plays. Last week, only 1 for 5. Gave you 6 plays, only 1 for 5. As a DFS value, it worked out. From a NFL prop standpoint, it didn't. But we're going to get back on the list, because we normally hit this hard at least 75 to 80%. So let's get right back to it. Okay, let's get right back to it, as we're going to look at, right off the bat, we're going to look at Ryan Tannehill, the best team in the league right now, the Tennessee Titans. In my opinion, they are on a nice little run. Okay, a nice little run. And Ryan Tannehill has been very, very efficient. Very, very efficient. Okay, and the reason why I like this is because, number one, he's playing the Houston Texans. Okay, and the Houston Texans are not a very good team. And you look at that plus 500, that is the DFS value. If this is the first time you're watching the show, remember, 6,700 is what DFS value is this week. Plus 500 is the difference from last week, playing the Houston Texans. And we're going with the over of 20.5 completions, 20 and a half at minus 115. The reason why, the last 4, he's been 20 plus. He's been 20 plus. And the one thing I want to point out, the reason why I like this number too, is his completion percentage. Okay, his completion percentage, because even though you might say this might be a bad bet because the Houston Texans are a bad team, okay, but those last 2 games, 19 for 27, the game for that, 23 of 33. This guy is hitting above 70% completion percentage, which means even if he only throws the ball 19 times, okay, he's going to complete at least 25, which gives you that 20 and a half. So that's why I like this number. And it's always good when you're betting on a very good team, right? Always good when you're betting on a very good team. Okay, so let's go with another quarterback. And we're going to go with our man Tua, who came in halfway through the game last week and looked very successful, going up against a poor Jets defense. Now, this is not a great game to bet on, Miami and the Jets. But this number stuck out to me. And the reason why, okay, the Jets are the worst team in football against the run. Worst team in football against the run. Okay, so I looked at that and I was like, Myles Gaskin, I don't know. Over 47 and a half, that's a big number. I don't like it. I really don't. So I was like, where can I get those rushing numbers at? Where can I get them at? And you know where I can get them at? I can get at my man Tua. And the reason why, again, you got to look inside the numbers, okay? In week 6, 7, and 8, Tua has hit this number respectively, okay, on 3 rushing attempts per game. Last week, don't look at that. He only played half the game. He will get out at least 2 or 3 times. And if he's averaging 9 to 10 yards per carry, okay, when he gets out and per game, that's an easy hit on this number. Again, against a terrible Jets defense. Worst defense in the NFL. That's why I like that number. Okay. And let's go with a receiver. And and again, in the beginning of the year, this guy, it's another game or another team that's hard to bet on when you're looking at the Houston Texans because they are so bad. But the name of the game in fantasy is volume. And if you have volume, it's inevitable that you're going to turn that into a high catch rate. And Brandon Cooks going up against Tennessee. Okay, this is what I looked at. His last four games, lowest receptions he had was 5. Okay, but his volumes are at 40 total targets in 4 weeks. That's 10 per game. This guy is getting the looks all day. And if this becomes a blowout, they will continue to pass the ball. But no matter good game or not, Brandon Cooks is going to get that volume. Okay, and this is a plus money bet at plus 100, over 5.5 receptions. Okay, Tennessee has actually been very, very, very bad against the pass over the last 7 weeks. So you have to look at that number. Okay, Brandon Cook started out this year as one of the most consistent fantasy wide receivers that nobody expected. His last 2 weeks, okay, 20 targets. Look at week 8 against Jalen Ramsey against the Rams. Guess what? 6 targets, 100% catch to target ratio. He turns that into 6 catches for 83 yards at a 14 yards per catch average and scores a touchdown against one of the best corners in the league. You mean to tell me he can't get you 5.5 catches against a porous Tennessee pass defense? He can do it. I'm telling you right now, he can do it. This was almost my lock of the week. Okay. Almost my lock of the week, but it's not. Okay. But I do like that Brandon Cooks number this week for those specific reasons that I just detailed. Now let's go to another receiver. This is more of a tight end, but in a receiver's body, okay, who's cut last 2 weeks. He has been coming back with a vengeance, and that is my man, George Kittle. And how good did those San Francisco 49ers look? How good did they look on that stage of Sunday Night Football? They looked exceptional. Kyle Shanahan took it to the LA Rams. He took it and he ran it right in their mouth, right up the gut, and they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop the running game. But that running game has opened up the passing game, okay? Because we've all talked about the trials and tribulations of our man, Jimmy Garoppolo. And what have we talked about before? We've talked about as long as Jimmy doesn't get touched, as long as he doesn't get hit, he can be successful, but he's a statue in the pocket. He cannot move. You have to protect him. That's why the Trent Williams signing was so huge for the San Francisco 49ers. They know how to protect them, and that's what Kyle Shanahan did. How do you protect the quarterback? You run the crap out of the ball, and that's what they did, whether it be Elijah Mitchell, okay, whether it be Jeff Wilson Jr., they have the horses to run the ball. Well, we're talking about George Kittle. Look at that plus 500. DraftKings plus 500. They said we know he's going up against one of the worst defenses in all of football in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, they're giving up 366 yards per game. And the last 10 weeks, over the last 10 weeks of this season, or I should say the first 10 weeks of the season, whatever way you want to take that phrase, they are averaging against opposing tight ends at least 5 catches per game, 60 yards in the air, and at least 7 targets. What does that tell you? At over 5.5, at plus 100, another great plus money bet when we're talking about the prop market. Let's look at George Kittle. The last 2 games he's come back from injury. What does he do? 15 targets, 11 catches, 151 yards. He is locked in. He is locked in. This is what they need this offense to be. Whether he's blocking for the run or he's getting out in space, George Kittle against the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, 5.5. Don't look at that Buffalo game. I get it. It was an anomaly. Okay, this San Francisco 49ers team is rolling. They're clicking. Kyle Shanahan knows how to game plan. He will overtake Urban Meyer, okay, when we talk about that chess match on Sunday. And George Kittle, for me, again, He's hit this number already. He consistently would hit this number. 5.5 is I definitely see an 8 to 9 catch game. This is a Travis Kelce type game that we talked about last week. The one prop that did hit. This is the same kind of prop that I am feeling for this week. So let's get to a running back. And again, I like to keep this short. Okay, I'm trying to get shorter and shorter every week because not everybody has a half hour, 45, 50 minutes to listen to Jigsaw talk about his props. But I got to give you why. I'm not just throwing stuff up against a wall. These are gut feelings based on analytical data that I have researched and I feel will be successful. Let's look at my man, Dalvin Cook. Okay, now, Dalvin Cook, big number, 8,200 for DFS. I still would pay for that number. Okay, still, he's going to be a top 3 running back this week. Top 3. Top 3. Nick Chubb could absolutely be number 1 against a terrible Lions run defense. Okay, terrible. And you know Kevin Stefanski's going to get back to running the ball. So that's a huge Nick Chubb. That's a huge play, DFS, DraftKings. But so's Dalvin Cook here, 8,200, Minnesota running back, plus 200 from last week, going up against Green Bay. Green Bay on the road is giving up at least 105 rushes per game. Dalvin Cook in 5 of 7 has been over 100 yards per game from the line of scrimmage. 108.5 is not a big number when you look at this game. Over, rush, and receiving. Not a big number, okay? And I actually have Russ. Okay, let's change that because I don't want everybody, you don't know how to spell the word rush, right? Before I get some banter here, okay? We'll throw back up, okay? But the over rush of receiving a 108.5, to me, this is a no-brainer. This is going to be a give the ball to Dalvin Cook, whether it be out in the flat, whether it be behind center, east to west, north to south, swing routes, counter plays, draw plays, halfback screens. This is going to be Dalvin Cook's show against Green Bay. Green Bay did not look good last week. They will be back this week, obviously. They have their own bulldozer as a running back in A.J. Dillon, who looks to be very, very successful. Again, he was last week. I still think he'll be successful this week, but we're looking on the other side. We're looking on my prediction as the top running back in fantasy football at the end of the year, who I predicted in the preseason. Let's see how that goes. Obviously, I couldn't predict the injuries to Derrick Henry and the inconsistency of Christian McCaffrey, but I really did like Dalvin Cook, and these are the games on why I like Dalvin Cook. So if you just look at what he's been able to do, like, again, I know he's been injured here and there, but just look at the last 2 weeks, okay? He's over 200 yards, 94 against the Chargers, 110 against Baltimore, 24 receiving last week, 12 the week before, but he's gotten 8 targets, 7 catches, okay? He's up to 41 attempts in 2 games. This guy is legit. Okay, he's legit. And this is the perfect game at home in the Dome against that Green Bay defense that is reeling a little bit, that is able to show that he can get above 108.5. Okay, so this is a really good play. I like this. He likes to hit these numbers when we talk about lines from scrimmage, right? My man Adam Second and Tony gives you all the good. Not last week, Adam. Last week was bad. I only gave 1 out of 6, but that's okay. We're going to get back on. But now we got our last pick because we're going to keep this show under 15 minutes if possible, under 20 at the most. We're at 14 right now. I got to give you my lock of the week. And Eagles fans, relax. I know you're not going to like this, but I don't care because I am an Eagles fan, but I want to make some money too. And unfortunately, this just stood out to me so bad that I have to take it. And I suggest you take it too. Lock of the week for me, Jalen Hurts versus the Saints, over 0.5 interceptions, which means he's going to throw a pick at plus 130. Can I explain to you? Do you understand who he is going to be throwing up against? You know it's Malcolm Jenkins out there. You know it's Mr. Marshawn Lattimore. You understand that Lattimore just got the cast off of his hand 2 weeks ago. He was playing with a cast and still was one of the best covers in football. The Saints have 11 picks already, which is 3rd in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is very susceptible to being read. They know where he's going. They're following his eyes. For me, I can't help but love this play right here. I can't help but love this play right here, even though this is against my dogs. My man Mike checking if you run it. Yes, you got big one, man. You got Mr. Chubb coming back, Mike. Mr. Chubb's going to have a good week, man, against those Lions. Happy Friday, bro, as well. Happy Friday to you as well, man. Thanks for checking in. As always, my man Mikey V, always coming and bringing the heat as well. But lock of the week, Jalen Hurts going up against that really good secondary. Malcolm Jenkins is a veteran. Marshawn Lattimore is a stud. Like I said, he's not he's very mistake prone, I should say. Very mistake prone. Okay, when I mean by that is Jalen Hurts, because he allows the defense to read his eyes and he looks on his receivers way too much. He's still learning. I still like him as a quarterback. I still love Jalen Hurts as the person. But again, this week, I'm going to bet against him because I think he's going to throw a pick. But there you have it, man. Okay, that's it. We're at 16 minutes. Again, follow the Sharp app, all social formats. Download it from the App Store today. It's your one-stop shop. Okay, you see the web address right below. It's scrolling across your screen, sharpbets.app. Sign up, beat the bookie, coupon, heat free so they know I sent you. Join the free Discord where you hear all the coaches based on your numbers, based on your plays. You can get at us all day, 24/7. Those guys, as long as myself, are legit. I'm just a small piece of the puzzle. Those guys are the man, okay? I'm telling you, my man John Stastational, you got to check him out. He is giving some unbelievable plays out there. Anthony, unbelievable plays when we talk about the Sharp app. Okay, the alternative edge here, Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, let's fly through. Let's fly through and recap. Okay, we're going to go Ryan Tannehill, over 20.5 completions, minus 115. We're going to go Tua, over 9.5 rush yards against the most poorest and terrible rush defense in the NFL of the Jets at minus 120. Brandon Cooks against the Tennessee Titans. I get it, but again, look at the numbers. Over 5.5 receptions. The volume is there. It's a plus money bet. Another plus money bet, George Kittle, a plus 500 in DFS. Play him in that too. Against Jacksonville, over 5.5 receptions at plus 100. Absolutely love that play. Then we got Dalvin Cook, the over rushing receiving at 108.5. He's hit this number 5 of 7 games, people. 5 of 7 games. And he's going to hit it again against Green Bay at home. And then we have the lock of the week. Jalen Hurts to throw a pick against the New Orleans Saints, who have 11 interceptions, third in the NFL against a quarterback who can be read. Again, I am your host, Tony J. Cotillo. This is the alternative edge. I've had a blast as always. Let's see if we can go 6 for 6 this week, right? I'll take 6 for 6, okay? But I'll actually just take above 50%, which I know with these picks, very confident that we'll at least get to that point. As always, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give me a follow on Twitter at TCotillo23. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a wonderful weekend, and let's hit on some picks.